today's car market in 2025, is there ever a reason or a justification for paying above MSRP prices or dealer markups? This is a question that, had I asked it 10 years ago, you would have said, absolutely not. However, as we all know far too well, the 2020 pandemic era car market changed everything and introduced all of us to the world of above MSRP pricing, and it certainly normalized it in the process. But despite us being 5.5 years removed from that, despite inventory returning to normal, we still have unfortunately not shaken this reality of dealerships paying above MSRP and adding their BS markups to new vehicle purchases. And this is oftentimes under the guise of demand standard fees or whatever other BS that they can pull out of their butt. But is this situation ever justified? For example, if there's a ton of demand, if a car is super popular, if an automaker has low inventory? Well, unfortunately, this is a question that is hard to gauge because hindsight is always 2020. And I recognize that as a car buyer, it can sometimes be hard whenever you're in the thick of it and you have to make the decision of whether or not you want to pay the markup or if you want to potentially walk away from the deal. And so I decided to take the top 5 best-selling cars in the first half of 2025, cars that based on demand should theoretically have some markups associated with them, cars that either last year or a couple of years ago would be selling for above MSRP, and I looked at these vehicle prices to see how they're faring today. First is the Ram pickup. According to Car and Driver, Ram pickup trucks are ranked the 5th best-selling car of the first half of 2025, with 143,320 units sold in the first 6 months of the year. Now, despite Ram being a hot car, they have quite a large amount of inventory with a 121-day supply in July of this year. And if we look at third-party platforms like Cars.com, not only does Cars.com have 10,000 plus brand new Ram 1500s available, but there are also a variety of brand new 2025 and 2026 Ram pickup trucks that are selling well below MSRP. Like this one for sale for over $10K below MSRP, this one for sale for $9,000 below MSRP, or this one which is priced at about $6,000 below MSRP. But don't get your hopes up too much because there is always one. Because this dealership has priced this Ram at $1,000 above MSRP. But do not fall for it. Next is the Honda CR-V. Unlike Ram, Honda as a brand has low inventory. In fact, in July, they had the 3rd lowest inventory of any other automaker. And according to the most recent sales data from August, according to Automotive News, Honda actually saw a 5.2% sales decline year over year in the month of August. And while the discounts for the Honda CR-V are significantly less plentiful than they are for the Ram pickup, they are still there. So don't be fooled, because we have this CR-V, which is about $1,000 below MSRP, this one, which is about $400 below MSRP, this one right here, which is priced at $1,500 below MSRP, or this one, which is priced at about $2,500 below MSRP. Now, I mentioned a moment ago that Honda has sales declining and they also have low inventory, but in the case of the CR-V, it is important to note that there are over 10,000 units of the CR-V available brand new throughout the country. So even a high-demand, low-inventory automaker has a lot of inventory for their specific makes and models, and in the case of the CR-V, in my opinion, you should absolutely not pay above MSRP, and if I'm being honest, I think the discounts should be better than what they are. Next is the RAV4, which according to Car and Driver sold 239,541 units in the first half of this year. And similar to Honda, Toyota is a very, very low inventory automaker, and they have been for years. But unlike Honda, who saw sales decline year over year in August, Toyota actually saw sales increase. But will that sales increase and low inventory be enough to justify a dealer markup? Well, it's a bit of a hit or a miss here. Now, when it comes to the standard RAV4, there are plenty of them that are priced for below MSRP. Like this one, which is priced at $1,500 below MSRP, or this one, which is priced at $1,000 below MSRP. However, whenever we go into the realm of RAV4 hybrids, inventory is only 5,400 units nationwide, and you can see that below MSRP prices is much, much harder to find. And when you go into the EV Prime variant or the plug-in hybrid, inventory tanks down, so yeah, no below MSRP prices are found. Now, is this one where below MSRP prices could potentially be justified? Well, actually, maybe. But I'll let you decide that one. Now, number 2 on the list is the Chevy Silverado, which sold 283,812 units in the first half of 2025. And while Chevy doesn't have as low of inventory as Honda and Toyota, they do have below average. But when it comes to the Silverado, it really doesn't make a huge difference because this is a trend that you probably have noticed if you've watched some of my videos in the past. But trucks in general just tend to have a lot of inventory. But as a result, they also tend to have a lot of below MSRP prices as well. Like this 1500 being sold for about $5,000 below MSRP, this one being sold for $7,000 below MSRP, or this one being sold for $9,000 below MSRP. And last but not least is the Ford F-Series, which was ranked the #1 top-selling car in the United States and has been for a long time, selling 399,819 units. Now, Ford has middle-of-the-pack inventory, and their sales actually grew in the month of August. But one thing that I do want to point out, not only in the context of Ford, but in the context of this list overall, is that I do think that these numbers are a bit skewed, because if you look at the top 5 best-selling cars in the United States, only 2 of them have a handful of trim levels for their specific model, the RAV4 and the CR-V. While if you look at something like a Ram pickup, a Chevy Silverado, or an F-Series Ford, all of those different models have a ton of submodels, like the F-150, the Raptor, the Ram 1500, 2500. I mean, Ford alone has more variants than I can even remember. So of course, something like the Ford F-Series, which has like a million different options, of course it sells well, and I just think that these types of lists are a bit misleading as a result. But that's neither here nor there. And truthfully, if you've seen my videos before, then what I'm about to say won't surprise you one bit, and that is the fact that the F-Series is in fact selling for below MSRP prices in many cases. In fact, let's take a moment to just acknowledge the sheer number of F-Series trucks available, with the F-150 alone having more than 56,000 new models available nationwide. But truthfully, under no circumstance should you be paying above MSRP for any F-Series truck. I don't care if you're buying a more run-of-the-mill F-150, like this one which is selling for $13,000 below MSRP, or something like a King Ranch, like this one which is selling for $8,000 below MSRP, or a Raptor, which some dealers still think they can sell for above MSRP, despite the fact that there are literally thousands available on dealership lots brand new. Now, the fact of the matter is, whether you're buying a low inventory, high demand, low demand vehicle, in most cases, dealership markups just simply are justified. And even if they technically could be, based off of extremely low inventory numbers, like the RAV4 Prime or plug-in hybrid version of the RAV4, in my opinion, there are always better options out there that you can get for a much better discount. Now, truthfully, in the next video that I do like this, I should take some of the lowest inventory makes and models and compare the prices to some of the highest inventory ones, just to see how the prices vary. But in the case of these that we talked about in this video, demand alone should in no way, shape, or form dictate whether or not you pay above or below MSRP prices, and in most cases, you should just be paying below no matter what, despite the fact that dealerships may think otherwise. Like always, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.